God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all of our decisions. Bless us all to be the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. See, everybody has the agenda in front of them. Do you have any motions?
Do you want to do roll call first?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
Ms. Kieran, or Ms. Clear?
Miss Sorb,
Here.
Miss Gaston,
Here.
Miss Alexander,
Here.
Miss Keratin,
Here.
Miss Clear,
Here.
Mr. Davis,
Here.
Miss Chichester.
Here.
Thank you. I see that everybody has the agenda in front of them. Do I hear any motions?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to amend the agenda.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to move that we go into executive session and pursuant to ORC 121-.22 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Madam President.
Ms. Alexander?
I second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second on the floor from Ms. Alexander to go into an executive session. Roll call? I apologize.
Madam President, I would like to have the executive session after further remarks from the audience.
After further remarks? Okay. I have that inserted here. Ms. Clear, did you have a question? Okay. Ms. Sorb, did you have a question?
Nope, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay. Ms. Clear, just to restate, we have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander to have executive session. Ms. Gaston, can you restate your reason?
Yes, 1 second. Okay. To consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Okay, and that is to be held after further remarks from the audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Roll call?
Miss Sorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Excellent. In your packet, you should have received.
Madam President,
We have to adopt the minutes.
Ms. Orb?
I would like to make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Okay.
Madam President, I would like to second.
I have a motion on the floor from Ms. Zorb and a second from Ms. Gaston to accept the minutes as amended. Roll call?
Miss Sorb,
Yes.
Miss Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Keratin,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay. Everyone should have the minutes from 12/15/2025's meeting in front of them. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Madam President,
Ms. Orb?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I second.
We have a motion on the floor from Ms. Orb and a second from Ms. Gaston to accept the minutes. Roll call?
Ms. Sorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Curitan,
I abstain.
Ms. Clear,
I abstain.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion pass 5-0.
Ms. Clear, would it be 5-2 since there was 2 abstentions?
Oh, 5-2.
502.
502?
Yeah,
Okay, 502.
yeah, an extra count in there.
Ms. Clear, is there any communications this evening?
I have no communications for council this evening.
I'd like to open it up at this time for any public comment from anyone who has come. Has anyone signed in, Ms. Claire?
Yes, we have one person signed in, Ms. Thetford.
Hi, I'm Barbara Thetford, 2030 Sundale Avenue. I'm here to talk about property maintenance. I was a regular here years and years ago, different council, different administration. Council didn't think they could do much about it, that it was an administrative thing, and nothing really happened. So now everybody is different, including the inspectors. But there's a lot of issues in North College Hill. I try to just stay in my own immediate area because I'm a longtime resident, almost 50 years as a homeowner in North College Hill. I am surrounded almost totally by renters. I don't mind that people are renters. I do mind if they don't take care of the property or the landlord doesn't take care of the property. And I know there's some big issues here that in the past I don't think the city would address if it involved money, like replacing driveways and sidewalks and things like that. There's some areas where sidewalks are crooked, cockeyed, cracked, gone, covered with grass, covered with gravel where the asphalt has run down. Anyway, those are some, but there are little issues that go a big way. They redid our street like 4 or 5 years ago. Just redoing the street and putting in curbs and doing the driveway aprons added a lot to that street. But it has not prevented people from parking in the yards, in the right-of-way, in their front yards. That's an issue that should be resolved in a couple of days. Another issue I have with an immediate neighbor is trash. They've made like a dump in their backyard. And I don't mean garbage like your kitchen garbage, but anything they want to get rid of, they just pitch it back in the corner. Unfortunately, they pitch it right in the corner where I sit when I sit outside 6 months of the year. Anywhere else, I probably wouldn't even notice it, but it's right in my face. These people don't speak English. I tried to talk to the man who lived back there. He finally asked for my phone number. I thought he was going to have his landlord call me. He just wanted to be my friend. But I used a translator to tell him what I wanted.
Oh, good. Amen.
He moved one piece of thing, and that was it. Like he didn't understand. I wrote a letter. I looked up the address of the homeowner and wrote him a letter. Would you please clean it up? So then I put in a request, and that was like 6 months ago. Nothing happened, so I put in another request. I got a response from Aaron saying he's working diligently on it. Well, I can tell you I could clean that yard up in an hour. So I don't know what's taken 6 months. And the other thing I have, a couple of things that are pet peeves for me. And I walk the neighborhood, so I see a lot. I notice, for some reason, the 2000 block, the 1900 block of Catalpa, I walk down that street. Those are tiny slab houses. Most of them no garages, one story. They got a backyard, and most of them are fairly neat. I don't know who lives in them, or how many people, but they're fairly neat. I live up between Simpson, I live above Simpson, but Simpson and Betts, 2-story houses, garages, basements. They have crap everywhere. It's everywhere. Your front yard should not be storage, and that includes the sides that you see from the front yard. Things like garbage cans, I know they're supposed to be in the back. Even mine is on the side. I've gotten used to seeing garbage cans in the front. I don't say much about it unless they're overflowing. But anyway, I'm just here to report on, there is an issue with one person on the street that thinks his yard is a parking lot. And this has been going on for years, and I've put in a complaint when we had past inspectors. I guess they go and talk to him, the cars would move. 2 weeks later, they're back in there. I put in another complaint. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to get action. This has been going on for years. The front yard is getting torn up. There is a car. Besides that, there is a cart on the right side of the house. There is a trailer in the driveway. 3 minutes. There's a tent in the front yard. You can't put a shed in your front yard.
Excuse me, ma'am. You're going over your time.
Okay, I want you to know what's going on.
And
my second question is, I have tried to reach the neighborhood resource officer and the administration, and I'm not getting any answers. I'm not getting any response from anybody, and that's why I'm here. I don't even know what council can do.
So to restate, you've tried a couple different times to reach out to code enforcement and have not seen much action.
He's got an open case, I think. But I mean, how long do you stay open for these kind of things?
Okay.
These are issues that should be resolved in a couple of days. It's like mowing grass. I had 3 complaints in at one time. All should have been done in a couple of days. It took 3 months to get the grass cut.
We'll take a look on it. And you said you also wanted to reach out to your resource officer?
Well, I just want somebody to do something.
Okay.
Do something about property maintenance in this city.
Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you restate? Sorry. Yes, Miss City Administrator?
Do you mind giving me your name and address again? I just want to look up all the things so we can address. I do know what's going on with code enforcement, and I can help you with that process. Some of the things that you stated fall under the jurisdiction of police, and our police chief was like, what's the address, what's her name, because he's planning to follow up. So I apologize that it's been lengthy, that you've had the follow-up. I am city administrator, and I do not have any recall of you reaching out. I searched my email, and your name is Barb Tedford. Okay. And you may have the wrong, so we're going to try to just connect and make sure that we're better monitoring your street. But if you could just give me your address again so that I can. And your last name is T-E-D. Okay. I'll contact you tomorrow.
Do what?
I'll contact you tomorrow.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Claire, was there anyone else signed in?
There's nobody else signed in for this public comment session.
Okay. Ms. Claire, was there any guest speakers?
I was not made aware of any guest speakers for this evening.
Okay. So we'll move down to council committees. As we on Saturday just did committee assignments. I'm sure we obviously have not met between then and now, but I was wondering if we could go around with committee chairs and just remind the public when your meeting will meet and what time. So we have City, Community Development, and Recreation. Would the chair like to speak?
Madam Chair, or Madam President, we are going to meet January 12th at 7 p.m.
Budget and Finance?
Thank you, Madam President. We will meet on January 12th at 7:30 PM.
Rules and Public Policy?
Thank you, Madam President. We will meet on Monday, January 12th at 6 o'clock p.m.
Public Safety?
Good evening, Madam President. We will meet January 12th at 6:30 p.m.
And I am sure we do not have any ad hoc reports from 2026 as we are just now beginning it. Has this, now I will ask this, Ms. Gaston, I did see you are the liaison to the school board. I did see where they are advertising
Yes, ma'am.
for a school board opening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That information is on the school's website, but one moment, I can get that for you, just to give you a little bit of information. So the North College Hill Board of Education is seeking applicants to fulfill a board member term that became vacant on January 1st. The deadline to email interest is Sunday, January 11th by 11:59 p.m. The board will then reach out to schedule interviews with eligible candidates after the board meets on January 12th. Anyone seeking to, they have to be a registered voter, and they have to live in the district. And if anyone is interested, the email to send your resume and things of that nature is ORRKE.H@NCHCityschools.org.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston.
You're welcome.
Madam President,
Yes, Madam Mayor?
can you have each liaison or chair for whatever the different ad hocs are? I don't have those.
Okay.
Just so we'll know who, like, we just found out she's for the school board.
Ms. Clear, I know that we went over that during our organizational meeting. Could you possibly make a list available for the administration and for, just for everyone, just to restate so everything's all together?
Yep, I can send that out to all of the administration.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Madam President,
I'm sorry. Ms.
I don't
City
know
Minister.
if I don't know if you guys did you guys cover in the meeting like the representative from council that goes to the different commissions? Planning.
I wasn't here for that, so.
Ms. Clear, I think we covered the Planning Commission.
We went through everyone.
Yeah, we went through the entire list.
I didn't see them on the list of the agenda. I
Madam-
see Ms. Zorb shaking her head no.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
some of those are mayor appointed.
Yeah.
That's, so.
Yes,
So
we-
we didn't
we
fill
only-
any of those.
Yeah, we only handled the ones that are council appointed. The ones that obviously are mayor appointed, we did not fill.
Okay.
So I think, are you asking if any of them considered any of those? Sorry, Madam President.
Well, I was, but now that I've remembered that you are the appointer, I guess I can tell you where those vacancies are, and then you can work on filling
I
them.
know, I'll top. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And for the administration as a whole, it would probably be better once you receive from Ms. Clear what we did on Saturday, so you know what's left and if there's anything that was missed.
Okay.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear?
if any of the members of the public are interested in learning more about the boards and commissions that the city has, that's a great way for citizens to get involved and volunteer and make a difference in our community. That information is on the website. There is a page dedicated to the boards and commissions of the city if people are interested.
Thank you, Ms. Clear. Okay, can we move to administrative reports? Madam Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. That was one of my things to talk about, council considering joining some of the commissions that we have for the seats. I know CIC is one, the Planning Commission. But we can get into that a little further. I would like to welcome our new members. We have almost like an all-female council, Mr. Davis. I mean, Mr. Graver is no longer here. Ms. Whitlisbach is here, so you're privileged, honored, right, to sit amongst all these wonderful women.
Yes, privileged or outnumbered, depending on how you look at it.
Both. That's really all I have right now. With it being the beginning of the year, we're working on different things that we'll present between now and the end of February. So just wanted to welcome everyone and say Happy New Year.
Thank you. Ms. City Administrator?
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone, and congratulations. I think I've said it to each of you. They're newly appointed individually, but I'll say it publicly as well. And I do agree that Mr. Davis is both privileged and outnumbered. So there's the street schedule that I'm working on getting because I'd like to put that on the website. And by that, I mean because the next set of work that we're going to work on in terms of redoing the streets, we're coming up on construction season. I know we're knee deep in the winter, but we start making those decisions and putting that information out there in January. So we'll have some streets that we'll be redoing this spring. So we're working on getting that and communicating that out on the website, and pretty sure we'll put it in the newsletter. And then I wanted to mention, because I didn't mention it before, the newsletter, the last December edition, you should have saw a street sweeper schedule in there. I heard it outside of my house this morning, and I looked out there and they were going. So I think I wanted to just clarify, one, that was upon request, and our hesitancy in putting it out there is that based on the emergencies of the Public Works Department, they're not always able to keep that schedule exactly, but so there was like a very general kind of where they would be and what quadrant and the cadence of how you could look for them. And if they have major interruptions or things that would conflict with them being able to go out, like even if a tree falls and it's their responsibility to cut it down, please be gentle. They will accept emails and communication to modify that schedule, but it does kind of help you all have, when I say you all, I mean the citizens have clarity as to when the street sweeper will be out. And then administratively, we're working on closing up the FOP agreement for full and part-time. We did not get that finished at the end of the year. It was just something that was out of our control, just trying to have the right bargaining agreement for our city and not enter anything in haste or in rush. So that is still on the table. We are also going to open up for bid the Rumpke contract. We did an extension last year for 1 year, so we will need to bid that out. A city of our size, it is customary, and that's what we're going to be working on in the next couple of months. And then as a city, we're also used to seeing the cleanup ordinance before the end of the year. We wanted to give our finance department the ability to close out the year properly to do the cleanup ordinance. I think it's yields for a much more accurate cleanup ordinance, so we'll have that in January. That's it. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Dieters.
Madam President, I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Okay. I do see the finance director in the audience.
Good evening, Madam President and Council. How are you all today?
Wonderful.
Awesome. Welcome to 2026. I would like to make a administrative request. My position is finance manager. I would prefer for it to be referred to as such. I am not the director. That is not what's in our charter, and that's not what my job title is. We'll continue to die on the hill of Rita. So we have new information or more updated information as relates to our constituents and being able to enter into their payment plans. So we have entered into that second phase of the subpoena program, which is where our RITA has connected federal returns with lack of North College Hill tax filings. With that, we have a lot of constituents who have received letters. Those are subpoena letters. So when you're having conversations with your constituents, yes, it is important that they do not disregard this information. It is an administrative subpoena. However, it is still a document that needs to be responded to. All of the information that RITA is requesting can be uploaded onto the website. So we do have some constituents who are showing up at the city building. That information has to go directly to RITA. I cannot interfere in the transmitting of information once it has reached the subpoena level. So, but the letter is very specific. You go on www.ritaohio.com. You set up your account. There is a number that's normally at the top right of the document you have received. You put that in, and it's going to ask you for some documents to upload. They have just for 2026 allowed the ability to set up payment plans online. So you don't even have to talk to a human. Simply go online, put in all of your information, enter into your payment plan, because that is the goal, is to collect the taxes. So please feel free to do that. You can always send out an email to finance-tax@northcollegehill.org if it's confusing, but literally going directly to RITA is the best avenue and the most quickest way to get your information taken care of. The second thing I wanted to speak about our audit. So I did receive communication from our lead auditor for the state of Ohio. So that they are re-engaging us to try and get 2023-2024 audit back done. But basically, it's probably going to be another 6 months before that particular audit is completed. Our IT audit with the state has been completed. We have received all of our recommendations, and all those recommendations are all around implementing HB 96. Which we've already engaged with the company so that we become compliant in that space. And Madam President, that concludes my report this evening.
Madam President.
Ms. Cureton.
I do have a question for you, Ms. Stevens-Knott. So thank you so much for that RITA update. Is the city currently proactively doing anything to catch the newbies, those new home buyers, and the persons, maybe there's a rental property that changes ownership? So what is the city proactively doing to catch the new people in our city regarding RITA?
So what is in the plan, and prayerfully it will be in place by the end of Q1 2026, is to engage our website where we have people, number one, that are signing up for building permits. We're going to engage that space to find for new business owners. We are also engaging with City Council as it relates to your baskets, because I do know it's in the plans to create kind of a welcome to North College Hill, and in there will be tax information. We currently already receive rent rolls from our 3 largest renting companies, Vinebrook, what's the other 2? Well, we currently already receive that information, and when that information comes in, it is scrubbed for those who have moved out, and then those who have moved in. That information is sent to RITA so that they can engage those those constituents. I do agree that we probably need a campaign of reminding citizens, not reminding, I think it's more like informing citizens that when you come to North College Hill, we are a taxing city. That is the number one conversation that I've had with all of the constituents when they got that letter from RITA. I didn't even know that I had to file. Not that they had to pay, that they had to file. Because you can pay North College Hill taxes through your employer. However, if you do not file, then it simply remains in escrow, and those dollars are never released to the city.
Madam President.
Ms. Alexander.
And just to piggyback what Council Member Cureton was saying, our young people. I had a situation. Now, my daughter, I assist her. But she had a friend, and you're talking about 20-year-olds. He had no idea. And so I spent the afternoon with him walking through, Rita. And, hey, you need to get your federal tax done. And, hey, now you need to do this. And now you need to do that. And, he was very compliant. He owed, some money. He went to the bank, got a certified check. But our young people, 20, 21, how are we reaching this? Because when he got the mail and it said subpoena, young man, fright, and of course then my daughter was like, my mother works on, city council. Well, did your mother send me the subpoena? It was a whole thing. But just educating our young people. I don't know how we can, because they're probably, I don't know if they're not going to look at the newsletter, and if they live with their parents or if they don't.
I have in the
young
so I one of the what I have learned, it's not just young people. We actually had a full-grown 55-year-old man who has lived in North College Hill most of his life who did not know that he had to pay taxes. So it is not a youth thing, it's simply an information thing. And so we're working with our city administrator and our mayor of possibly creating basically like a campaign around it and just tapping into where people read. I mean, so unfortunately, social media is the world's world. I don't know why, but that's where it's at. And that actually, every time we put something on social media, it does get a response. But I will tell you, the subpoena letters are working.
Is there any way we can, I don't know, alert businesses, like even, businesses, I'm still targeting young people.
Yeah.
Where young people work, whether it's Dunkin', a McDonald's.
Well, the businesses are doing their part. So that's, the issue is not whether or not the taxes are being withheld.
Right, I'm just.
It's really about educating,
Yeah.
it's really about educating adults on the filing component. Because literally our money was sitting there in escrow because they had it. But they can't release it until they can apply it to a human that lives in our city. So it's all about education. The more you know, the more you grow.
Yep. Okay.
Madam President,
Ms. Clear.
I just wanted to I guess, piggyback on the notification. I know once upon a time we all used to get postcards from Rita. I don't think they're doing that anymore. I don't know. But the other thing I wanted to mention, and I don't mean to step on administration toes at all, but I know that right now is rental registration season. Those rental registration forms, I believe, are due by the end of the month in accordance with our ordinances. And our ordinances also state that it is the landlord's responsibility to report their tenant information to the tax authority. I know that we had explored and in fact went as far as installing and configuring a web-based tool for landlords to be able to use to not only pay their registration but let us know tenant information. But I don't know where that landed because that was right at the tail end of my time.
I can tell you that it is definitely something, one thing that we're learning through this process is that we love technology. However, everybody doesn't love technology. And so I'm working with administration about basically, again, just like you say, put the onus back on rental owners, but making it a part of the onboarding process. So there'll be a document that when you have a new renter, this is a city document that gets filled out that you send. Oh, I'm sorry. Gemini's talking. I'm like, why are you talking? Anyway, that it will be a document that they submit to us. We literally have a huge untapped pool of humans moving in and out of the city, and being able to capitalize on that is a goal for 2026.
And the nice part about that was, like I said, it was kind of self-serve, but then also it gave us a nice database, so we didn't have to manage a bunch of paper. So, but I understand technology is limiting, but it's a blessing and a curse.
It is, right, correct, because what happens is then it's on a spreadsheet that has to get pulled out, and then we've got to do a pivot table and then do VLOOKUPs from here to here. So, yeah, it's a process, but it's definitely on the table for 2026.
Madam President.
Ms. Curtin.
I just wanted to maybe piggyback on one more thing you mentioned because they do go hand in hand. The rental registrations. I know that there were discussions regarding 2025, the number of dollars that were due versus the number of dollars are collected. I just wanted to know if we are on target for 2026 to collect that by the end of January, or if you foresee that something that needs to be pushed to later in the year. The reason why I'm asking that is that once we have the correct contact for rental registrations, that will help us pivot down the road with the RETA processes or the more so the issues that we're having. I think moreover, once we have the correct point of contact, whether it's Vinebrook or whether it's SPNS or whoever owns the particular property or even that homeowner, once we have the correct person, we may be able to address the rental registrations and RETA dually together to bring additional income into the city.
Just know we have solid contacts as relates to the big renters. That's the easy one. It is the homeowners and their rentees. That's where our area of opportunity is. It's definitely not with the big renters. We get a rent roll every month from the big ones. So we know who's moving in and who's moving out, so they are easy. But who is at, 582 Meese, that is the one that becomes difficult.
So just to clarify, are we on target to receive the rental registration fee
I
for
do.
every rental property in 2026? And did we collect it in 2025?
Madam President.
I can't even speak to that on January 5th of 2026 because December is still open. So.
Madam
Madam
President.
President.
Ms. Orb.
I'm shifting gears.
Shift.
I'm laying off the RETA gas pedal for a minute. The last time you were here, you spoke to us about, and I think you just mentioned again, the 2023 IT audit results, and that we got an email. I never did get that email.
Okay.
I've sent 2 different emails to the auditor, and I still haven't heard back.
You probably didn't send it to the IT auditor. You probably sent it to the people who came in our meeting, and they're not engaged in the IT side.
Is there any way you can intervene and get me on some magic list, and so I can see what?
Yeah, no, there was only that one. I just got the email back from my lead auditor saying, hey, I'm engaging North College Hill, so I just wanted to give that information to council. There was no big email that went out about the re-engagement.
No, I'm talking about the IT.
The IT?
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I will definitely, because he's done, so I'll just send you the email with the results.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you
because
so
he's
much.
finished.
Ms. City Administrator, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna address the rental registration is separate from RETA. It's not,
ahead.
it's not the same. We are on task to send those documents out. Mr. Torrey works on, distributing that. And how that works is when we send them notice that they owe the rental registration, they have up until a certain point to pay it. If they don't pay it, then they get assessed fees, and that goes down to Hamilton County as a lien against their property. So we don't really collect on that until they buy or sell their property. So I just wanted to clarify because that was kind of being looped in with the taxation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we're at call of members. Ms. Claire.
Ms. Thorpe?
All right. So, hello, citizens of North College Hill. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. There are a lot of new faces up here at the council table, and that's a direct result of your votes. As the top vote getter in November, I would like to thank those 882 people who put their trust in me. I plan not to disappoint you, to fulfill the words we put on our handouts, and to move this city forward in a forward motion. To those who did not vote for me, I understand. There were many things being said about me that were not true, and you had no way of knowing the difference. I'm still going to represent you in my actions. My plan is to get the real me to the common sense me and to gain your trust in me. I can't believe that it's come to this, but a person can only take so much. And then that final straw happens. Well, the camel's back is broken. And this is Mary Jo's chance to respond. So historically, I have taken the Michelle Obama slogan, when they go low, I go high. Well, they went too low this time to allow me to not respond. So let me bring up some facts. The facts are about my personal life, something that I should not have to defend, but here we are. I heard that on election day, a lie was being spread about me that I had a daughter that I disowned, that I had a daughter who had a child with a black man, and consequently I disowned her. The fact is that I've been pregnant exactly one time in my life. I gave birth to a son. My son's father is a black man. So the truth is that I have a biracial son. By the way, here's a picture of me with my son and my two beautiful grandchildren on my installation day. They were here at my swearing in. This is a picture of my son, 4 generations. My son, his father, and his grandfather. I can't tell you how many Sundays I spent at a kitchen table at the Andersons household in Kennedy Heights eating dinner. I'm trying not to get emotional, but I'm over it. I'm over this crap. Rumor 2, that was stated as fact, but is a bold-faced lie. At the organizational meeting on January 3rd, just a couple days ago, Ms. Chichester stated that I was formally removed from being the budget and finance chair. The fact, my council term was ending on December 31st, 2019. I ran for office for the term beginning in January 2020. I didn't win that election. Consequently, I was out of office. Mrs. Dewald, who had served 2 terms of her 4-year term, had resigned. Her designated team interviewed me and appointed me to fill her unexpired term. I was sworn in on January 13th, 2020, which meant I was not in office at the organizational meeting that, per the charter, must occur within 10 days. Amber Bailey was nominated and voted to be the finance chair in 2020. To conclude, I was not removed from the chair position. That was a lie that Ms. Chichester spoke. This information is readily available in the January 21st, 2020 council minute meetings. I have a copy right here if anybody would like to see them. These are just the lies that I found most egregious and that I wanted to address today. There are more. There are many more. I am sick and tired of the lies. For what gain? What is your motivation? Power? Ego? Greed? Can you not win on your own merit without dragging someone falsely through the mud? Wow. Ms. Chichester, you weren't even around when the allegations took place. Someone is feeding you lies. I would caution you to use better discernment regarding who you listen to. That is all I have, Madam President.
Thank you.
Ms. Gaston?
Thank you. I'm typically a joy dumper, but that actually really bothers me. Anywho, I'm sorry, Ms. Zorb, that you have to go through all of that. Good evening, everyone. First, let me say how genuinely thrilled I am to be up here to serve alongside my colleagues. We have worked our tails off. We have met a lot of people, and we genuinely mean what it is that we say when we text you, when we shake your hand, and when we see each other at McDonald's or Penn Station, my favorite. Every person sitting up here ran because we care deeply about North College Hill, and regardless of how we all got here, that shared passion matters. So congratulations to every single one of us. We made it, and let's keep rolling. I want to take a moment to thank some very special people who helped make our swearing-in ceremony such a meaningful experience. To our Vietnam veterans, thank you so much for the presentation of colors. My kids were in awe seeing them in their uniform and the huge American flags and the state flag. Your service, your presence, and your continued commitment to this country and our community does not go unnoticed. I want to thank my friend Seth Cornelius for sharing his time and talent with us to do a beautiful rendition of our national anthem. A huge congratulations to one of my favorite president of council, sorry, Susie, Mike Graver, for serving as our MC, for guiding us through the process, for listening, for reading, and being such a steady and supportive presence throughout everything. To Pastor Hudson, thank you for coming and supporting us. I also want to give a heartfelt shout out to the people who helped keep things running while we were up here being cute. That would be Ms. Mimi Anderson, which I see her in the audience today, Ms. Brenda Beverly, Ms. Linda Stagman, Ms. Linda Braunworth, and so many other people. Because of you, the ceremony was organized and fun. And lastly, thank you to Queen Celine. My feet still hurt because we danced so much. We had our boots on the ground, y'all. We had fun. But before we move forward, I would like to take a brief moment to acknowledge former council member Jim Dewald. We went to his visitation earlier today. To the Dewald family, we send our love and our condolences, and if there's anything that you guys need, I'm sure the whole community would help. As we begin this new chapter today together, I want to ground us in the words of former President Barack Obama. Democracy doesn't require us to agree on everything, but it does require us to work together. No one, and I'm piggybacking off of what I just heard from Ms. Zorb, but no one, not our peers, not our mayor, not our city administrator, should take the rude comments that we're seeing on social media, that we're hearing here in this council chambers. It has to stop. Convoluted stories, the way that public and social media and everything goes, we know what's going to happen. We know someone's going to say something. But when we are working together, we need to work together and stick together. We do not have to like one another, but respect is not optional. And if concerns of real magnitude ever arise, they must be addressed professionally, tactfully, and in a way that protects the trust and place it in this entire body. Because when we are up here arguing and we're hearing things, our citizens that elect us, it erodes their trust in us, you know? So let's just be mindful with what we publicly share out loud, and let's work for the city. Let's clean up Sundale. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Alexander.
Good evening. I'd like to say it was a great installation. It was full of love and camaraderie. I love the presenting of the color guard. That was awesome. And just seeing everybody work in tangent. It was one of the best installations that I've ever seen, and I was honored to be invited and to be there and take pictures, and it was just awesome. Moving forward, that is exactly what we need to do. Mm-hmm. We have to move forward. You don't have to like each other, but respect, that's a requirement. We have to serve at a cost to ourselves. If you all aren't familiar with Invictus, that is something that I hold dear. when we took these positions, we didn't, well, I know I didn't know anybody, but when I came in ready to serve, ready to just, treat everyone how I would like to be treated. Like I said, you don't have to invite me over to your house. You don't have to, call me up on my birthday. I like that, but you don't have to. But when we get behind these walls, we are here to work. It's a job. It's just like your regular full-time job. You have a job to do. Whether you have to keep your head down and your nose to the grindstone, that's what we're here to do. And let's just move forward. Let's not look back, move forward, and do what we need to do and serve. That's it.
Ms. Keratin?
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. First of all, I just want to take a moment and just say that it is truly an honor to be here, to serve on this council in 2026, to look back at my journey when I began to come to council meetings in March of 2024. It's been a journey, it's been a process, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm thankful for every citizen who voted for Kathy Curitan as the second top vote getter, first time running in the city of North College Hill. It is an honor, first time running for a public office. It is absolutely an honor and a pleasure to be here. As a citizen who sat in the audience for almost 2 years, I thank our citizens for showing up. I thank our citizens for being consistent. I thank every person who permitted me to have my yard sign, every person who stood out at the corner of Hamilton and Galbraith roads and campaigned with us on Saturdays, every person who went door to door with us. It is truly a blessing to know. Now, I do agree that although Ms. Zorb said there are people who did not vote for me, that's to be expected. But I appreciate you, and I am here to serve you as well. My service to the city is not for those who just like me, appreciate me, or who favor me. My service to the city is for everyone. That is my commitment. Amen. I also want to thank my husband, who's actually in the audience right now. He has been by my side this entire time. He has heard my gripes, my tears. He has understand my frustrations. He's cooked, he's cleaned, he's been very domestic. And so I really, really appreciate him for that. I also want to give thanks to those who I campaigned with, those who were boots on the ground with me. I appreciate you, Ms. Zorb, Ms. Beverly Gaston, Ms. Whitspot, Ms. Clear. It was an honor to campaign with y'all, and we did that. We did that humbly. And so I'm just wanting to remind everyone, as the sentiments have been echoed, it's a new city, it's a new day, it's a new dawn. I look forward to the hills from my help comes from. All of my help doesn't come from the strength of Kathy Curitan independently. My help does come from my Father. So I encourage all of us to consider why we're here. What is our why for being in these seats? Is it that we have nothing else to do with our time? I would say not. I would say that we are committed, we are dedicated, and we are ready to roll. I would recommend highly that if there are issues, if there are just things that we can't squat, then ask yourself, is this the right seat for you? If you cannot put your animosity for a person or people aside, ask yourself, will that prohibit you from serving this phenomenal city? So I just wanted to make that known, and I am available and I'm here. If you see me out, come talk to me. I would love to meet you all. In fact, I was driving home today, and we all know that Mary Dewald, her husband passed away, and I saw a lady walking a dog, and I thought it was her, and I immediately stopped and I said, wait, you're out walking your dog? It was a neighbor, and it was a new neighbor who actually voted for me, who I had not met before, so it was a wonderful opportunity. So thank you. I'm so very, very, very grateful. And to my family, my kids, everyone who just supported me, who gave wise counsel, I'm just so appreciative. So I will never stop saying thank you. I'm so very, very appreciative. Yesterday in our city, I celebrated my birthday. So excited about that. However, our city, if you did not know, there was a major accident at the corner of Hamilton and Galbraith. And I'm so excited to know and so very blessed to have heard those officers are okay. Whenever there is someone who is a police officer or firefighter and they give up their time and their talents and they're just driving to their call from one call to another, you don't think of the what ifs. You don't think about what could happen. You don't think when you leave out of your home, am I going to return? You don't think about these things, but I'm so glad to know those officers are okay. Our prayers are with their families. Our prayers are with the Uber drivers' families. And just don't take this moment for granted. Don't take the fact that we have breath, that we can breathe in our body. Don't take for granted that we have the ability to walk to our vehicles. Just don't take any of that for granted. Lastly, I want to remind everyone that next Tuesday, which is January the 13th, there is a neighborhood watch meeting at 6 p.m. here in the Senior Center. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. We want to make sure that our streets have visibility. We appreciate all of the labor and the effort put forward from our police officers, but we want to make sure that we can partner with them. We can be the eyes and the ears of our community. In fact, I realize there's been some things that's happened in our community, and so I'm so excited for those citizens who are going to come, those citizens who are vigilant, those citizens who are just really active. And so even if you have like cameras in your home, if there's something that you see or that you hear, let our police department know, because that might be of assistance. And very much lastly, I just want to remind everyone that as a servant, as a public servant, you're not necessarily here to be liked or loved. I told someone earlier today, I don't honestly care if you love me or like me. I'm here to serve you. At the end of my night, I go home to my husband. And so just allow yourself to really realize your why you're here. What can you do? What can you say? What can you add to be a better city to allow North College Hill to be a better city? It's a new city. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. And I am very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Ms. Clear.
Thank you. First of all, I do also want to extend my sympathies to the Dewald family with the loss of Jim. He was a very dedicated public servant for decades in our city. Very well-respected family, and Mary Dewald also. Prayers for her, especially. I don't know if she wants anything public, so I won't say it, but prayers for you as well. And also, I am grateful that the officers, that there were no serious injuries for the officers or the other individuals who were involved in the accident the other night. That had the potential to be a lot worse than it was. I'm thankful that our police have modern, safe vehicles to be in. That makes a difference. Your equipment helps you. It keeps you safe, and vehicles are indeed a part of that. So I was very grateful that these investments have been made over the last few years to make sure that everybody has the equipment they need to be safe. Secondly, I also want to thank the citizens of North College Hill for their trust in me, formerly Recreation Director, but now in an elected position. And people who know me, I tend to be more of a behind-the-scenes kind of person. If I did a city event, I was one of the people in the background. I didn't draw attention to myself, tried not to. So campaigning was definitely out of my comfort zone. I am not, that was, oh my goodness. But my family, my husband, my daughters, my son-in-law, who I call my bonus son, they were also very supportive and helpful, wearing the T-shirts and, holding down the fort at home. I just want to thank thank them for their support. And also for the citizens of North College Hill for their votes. I'm a numbers girl, so I looked up the numbers for the last few elections, going back a while. They're all online. This was a relatively healthy turnout for an election where there was no mayor or nothing really, no major state issues on the ballot. We had a impressive turnout for a local election, and thank you for making your voice heard. It definitely matters. And I'll do my best to live up to the trust that the citizens have put in me to do this role and to serve you in this capacity. I've also, unfortunately, heard some negativity directed in my direction during the campaign specifically. When you're in public service, and this again, I don't like it, but you're going to get the arrows at you. And my motto, and I've said this, the ladies who ran with me heard me say it, probably once, maybe twice, but if somebody says something unkind about me, I must live so that no one will believe it. And that is a motto that I keep with me a lot in the back of my mind. I just hope that we can work together as a team. This is a workplace. We need to treat each other with the professional respect that we would expect in any other workplace. And that we're not always going to agree. Even the ladies who we campaign together, we don't always agree. But we do have to disagree respectfully and listen and consider and move forward and commit to making decisions that are solid and sound and what we feel is the right decision in our heart to make. And respect that someone else may have a difference of opinion. That is what a council is for. That is what the votes are for. If everybody was voting the same way, there's a problem. And if it's every time, all the time, most of the time we're going to vote the same. But we ought to have respect for those who disagree. And that is going to be critical. And I hope that we can move forward. And I remember that as well. As I move forward in serving our city in this role. So thank you very much.
Mr. Davis?
Okay. First off, initially, Godspeed to Jim DeWald, and my condolences to Mary and the entire DeWald family. When it comes to Jim, I can't think of anybody I agreed with less that I enjoy disagreeing with more. Like I said, I enjoyed disagreeing with him on a lot of things. Good luck, God bless, and good luck, God bless, and y'all, and keep doing what you do. And another thing, the one thing I'll say, getting elected, you get elected on your poetry. Your governance is your prose. We all got a blank sheet. We all got a blank state going forward. And sometimes it's a lot of really boring prose. You write whereas a lot. I can't think of the time I've ever used word whereas in actual life or conversation. But we're here to go forward and do this whereasing together.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon.
And another whereas. Your North College Hill Lady Trojans girls basketball team is currently on a 3-game streak and playing right now over at the gym. As a matter of fact, that's more exciting than whatever we're doing. If you leave us to go watch them, you'll probably still catch the fourth quarter. They'll also be in action they also have home games on Wednesday the 7th and Friday the 9th. The Friday the 9th game is Norwood. I want to say Wednesday. I think it's Northwest. They're led by Coach Marquia Turner, and once again they're currently on a 3-game winning streak. And finally, it is with a kind of heavy heart that I got to say thank you to Coach Greg Conwell upon moving on as coach of the football team. Coach Greg Conwell inherited a 1-8 team and leaves as the reigning standing MVC Gray Division Coach of the Year and Southwest District Division 5 Coach of the Year. Thank you for your team building, your community building, and your focus, discipline, and determination. Godspeed. I know you'll do well going forward. He's been a builder, and he'll continue to build. That's all I got you.
Ms. Chichester?
Thank you. Forgive me if I start coughing. I have a little bit of a cold right now. Let me just start off first to say I've never spoke on anyone's personal life sitting in this table. Some of you I have not met until you started campaigning. Some of you, I've known you because you've been in office, and I've lived in North College Hill a very long time. So I did not speak on anything to do with your family. I don't know anything about your family. I didn't even know if you ever had children. I only seen you here in this chair at these tables. So whoever did it, it was not me, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But I do know your record. I've been in council since, I want to say mayor at the time, probably was clerk. Were you clerk first? And I've been here since coming to different meetings. So I don't know how you didn't realize this for a very long time. Also, you are correct about one part, and that was my verbiage. I said removed. I should have said not selected. Those are two totally different things, and you are right. And I didn't realize in a moment until I went back and realized that I said it that way. So you are absolutely correct on that part and that fact. I wasn't going to address it because it seems like it's one way when it comes to being falsely accused. Recently, you falsely accused of me of altering an email where I had to email the original sender to verify that that wasn't the case. In the spirit of moving forward, because it would have never served our city to even fact it, I fact checked it, I sent it to you, and there was no response after that. There was no apology after that. But like I said, we sit in these seats not to agree. We sit in these seats to serve our city. We sit in these seats to make the best decisions. Maybe I should have had more of a concrete evidence, but no one's feeding me anything. I am a history buff. One thing I do love is talking to living historians, people who lived it, people who have been through it, experienced. And if we don't do those things, we lose a lot of information, and we repeat a lot of mistakes. So in the spirit of not repeating some things, when I mean repeating history. Yeah, I should have brought documentation. And for that, I do apologize. Next time, I will make sure I have the documentation that is needed, or the historian, or whatever is needed. So with that being said, like I said, at the end of every meeting, every time we adjourn, that gavel rings, I said it like it's a bell. I move on, I move forward, on to the next task, on to the next job. So, but I do agree. I don't read a lot of comments online, so I don't know personally what attacks are out there for myself. That's just something I've never got caught up in, defending myself on those things. Maybe I might try to make a correction for like factual information, but when it comes to me, my family, say whatever, because like you said, when we go home at night and we get behind those closed doors with our loved ones, nothing else matters. You could leave social media out of your home. You could delete it off your phone. You could not address it. You can move forward. No one should be personally attacked sitting at this table. Attack me on the way I vote if you don't agree with it. I am fine with that. Attack me on my record. Don't attack my family. They don't choose this life. We did. They didn't choose to sit in these seats. We did. So I agree with the sentiments of the council, moving forward and moving onward. That is all.
Everyone, I'd like to open up if there's any further remarks from the audience.
Madam President.
I'm sorry. Yes, Madam.
Just out of curiosity, do we have like a sign-in time where people have to actually sign in by a certain time to have a remark from the audience? I don't remember if we did that. I feel like we did that in the past, but I'm not sure. I just, no, they can just sign in up at any time.
Madam President,
Ms. Claire.
from my understanding, they just signed up, and then whenever the time came up, if they weren't signed in by then they would have to either sign in at a different time.
And historically, the first time that they speak, we have a sign-in sheet to where they can sign in and speak for 3 minutes. And if we spoke during the organization meeting about leaving it open to if they email myself or the clerk of council within 24 hours of the council meeting, they would be given 5 minutes. But since it's the second time speaking tonight, we were leaving it open to where if they just wanted to come up and speak.
Is this the second time?
It is. I'm sorry.
I didn't ask, but I was gonna say, many moons ago, they had to sign in before the meeting started. And once the meeting started, no one else signed in. I don't know if that's what you were asking.
Well, I think I remember.
But that was many moons ago.
Madam President.
We have a whole new moon.
Madam President.
Ms. Gaston.
Just to speak to our city administrator, the thought process behind this was after you hear all of the committee reports, the administrative reports, sometimes citizens may have additional questions for us. So they would have that opportunity to right before legislation. So previously, it was where if you had remarks as it pertained to legislation, they could come up. But sometimes that's a little too late because if we've already voted on something, then they don't have the opportunity to come up and speak again. So that's the thought process behind that.
We just wanted to leave it more open to where if our community was affected or wanted to make a remark or was moved by something that was said during our council meeting, that they would have ample opportunity to address us.
Madam President.
Ms. Clear.
Also, on the original layout of the agenda, I believe that historically this or maybe right before administrative reports was the first time that people had a chance to speak. And it is 8:13. So we thought it would and other cities do this to allow your public to address council first or very early in the agenda. And that way, if there's something, that we can address in our committees or an address later on in the meeting, that gives us a chance to do that. And it also means they don't have to sit here and wait for half an hour to tell us that their neighbor has tall grass or wait an hour, So if they need to just get their concerns in front of council and then move on with their day, they have a chance to do that.
So to move forward on our agenda, earlier on there was a motion from Ms. Gaston that we were going to move into executive session. Ms. Gaston, did you have invitees?
She has to make the motion.
Madam President, I would like to make a motion.
Yes.
I move that North College Hill City Council go into executive session and pursuant to ORC 121.22 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or elected official.
Madam President.
We have a motion on the floor.
I
Madam
understand.
President,
Ms. Zorb.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Zorb to move into executive session. Ms. Gaston, can you restate your reasoning?
Yes, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Discussion?
Madam President,
Madam City Administrator?
I have, I am not allowed to call executive sessions, but I do have a issue that fits your topic. May I join for 5 minutes to talk about that, and then I will leave?
Let's go back to Ms. Gaston. Who was going to be your invitees to this executive session?
All of council and our law director. And I would like to hear what Ms. Dukestein has to say, and I would invite her at the end of our discussion.
Okay, so we will step out. Someone will step out and allow you in.
Okay.
So do you need to restate your, okay. So we have a motion on the floor. And I just had her restate the terminology. So now we're ready for roll call. Ms. Clear?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Miss Alexander,
Yes.
Miss Curitan,
Yes.
Miss Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Miss Chichester. Motion passed 7-0.
Back in order. I have lost my agenda. Okay, here we go. Okay. I see legislation listed on here, but I see nothing below it. Ms. Clear, is that in high hopes there is no legislation tonight?
I have not been made aware of any legislation for this evening.
Okay.
Yep, let's go.
Do we have old business?
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I am not sure if this is considered old business or not, but I would like to make can I make a motion in old business?
I'd rather have a motion in new business, but can we hear what it's about?
Never mind, I'll wait till new business.
New business.
Madam President,
Ms. Gaston?
I would like to make a motion. I move that the gate lock at Pies Park be removed effective immediately, no later than Tuesday at 9 a.m. And the city staff coordinate with the property owner of Clovernook School for the Blind with whomever from council, and develop a plan to ensure the park remains accessible to the public while maintaining safety, preventing illegal dumping, and reducing potential crime activity, and addressing any liability concerns. That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
Madam President,
Ms. Alexander?
I second.
So I have a motion from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander to remove the lock from the gate at Pies Park. Have I succinctly summed up your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Discussion?
Madam
Madam
President.
President,
Madam President.
Ms. Clear?
I thought somebody was before me.
I said Madam President.
Okay.
Actually, I said question, so I meant Madam President.
Ms. Chichester?
Is it the city lock or is it the owners of the properties lock? That's
I can answer that.
Ms. Clear?
Madam President, thank you. The gate is physically the property of Clovernook Center for the Blind. I believe the lock is ours.
The lock is not ours.
Well, then,
That is a personal lock.
well, then I'm not understanding why a personal lock was on a piece of city
That's what this
Managed
whole thing is about.
property.
That's what this whole thing is about.
Okay, that was a gap I did not know. So,
Yes.
yes, I have no further discussion.
Madam President.
And I'm just to clarify, we're not saying there will never be a lock on Pies Park. We're just wanting to change the lock and to put it back into city's hands. Ms. Curtin?
The owner,
Oh, Madam City Administrator?
I don't have any issue making sure that the lock gets removed. That was actually something that was in the city's plans. It is not a personal lock. However, I will say this, and I mean this very respectfully, that is an administrative task. That is something that should stay within the confounds of the charter. I don't mind doing it. I respect the fact that we needed to make a change, and has spoken to Mayor about making the change, and she can confirm that we were going to make a change at the beginning of the year of a natural progression. But that is an example of something that is administrative. I think maybe an email with suggestion as opposed to a motion would have been more, a better way to handle that.
Thank you for that feedback,
Madam
City
President?
Administrator. Ms. Curtin, did you want to?
Ms. Clear.
Ms. Claire?
I may be misremembering, but I think there was an original motion of council to allow a member of council to manage the lock on that gate. Was there no motion for that? Okay, all right. Then I am misremembering, and my comment is irrelevant.
Ms. Gaston, would you like to keep your motion a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion from Ms. Gaston and a second from Ms. Alexander. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Curitin,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
No.
Ms. Chichester.
No.
Motion passed 5-2.
Do we have any other new business?
Madam President,
Ms. Chichester?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Madam President,
Ms. Zorb?
I second.
I have a motion from Ms. Chichester and a second from Ms. Zorb to adjourn. Roll call?
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Ms. Gaston,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Curitin,
Yes.
Ms. Clear,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Chichester.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0.
God.